The cost of groceries in America hasn't just crept up. It's skyrocketed. For families on tight budgets, retirees counting every penny, and students surviving on instant noodles and cheap coffee, the struggle to afford even the basics is becoming a daily nightmare. And let's be real, this isn't just inflation. It's a full-blown crisis. The economy is teetering on the edge, supply chains are breaking down, and feeding your household feels like a battle you're losing. But here's the cold, hard truth. No one wants to admit. You don't need a fat bank account to prepare for what's coming. You just need to be smart and fast. That's why today, we're revealing 20 essential foods you need to stockpile right now. These aren't fancy, gourmet items. They're practical, affordable, and built to last. Some are ready to eat in seconds. Others require minimal effort, but all of them are designed to keep you fed, healthy, and sane when the world around you starts to crumble. Whether you're a single parent trying to stretch every dollar, a retiree bracing for the next price hike, or a student just trying to keep food on the shelf, this list is your lifeline. Because when the shelves go empty and prices keep climbing, the ones who are prepared won't just survive, they'll thrive. Let's get into it. 1. The survival superfood. Red lentils. When every dollar counts, and every meal matters, red lentils are the unsung hero of your pantry. Unlike other dried beans that demand hours of soaking and cooking, red lentils are ready to eat in under 20 minutes. No soaking, no hassle. That's a game changer when you're low on time, water, or fuel, which are often the first things to run out in a crisis. Packed with plant-based protein, iron, and fiber, red lentils are more than just food. They're fuel for survival. They stabilize blood sugar, keep you full longer, and support digestion, making them ideal for everyone from growing kids to older adults. Their soft texture is perfect for sensitive teeth, and they blend seamlessly into soups, stews, or even a quick curry with just a pinch of salt and garlic. And let's face it, when meat becomes a luxury you can't afford, red lentils step in as the affordable protein powerhouse. A single pound costing just a few dollars can stretch across multiple meals, feeding your family without breaking the bank. Stored in a cool, dry place, they last for years, quietly waiting to save the day when fresh food is out of reach. In hard times, red lentils aren't just a pantry staple, they're a lifeline. They're the kind of food that works behind the scenes, doing the heavy lifting when you need it most. 2. The bread alternative, shelf-stable tortillas. Fresh bread is a luxury you can't rely on in a financial emergency. By the time you bring it home, it's already racing toward mold. But shelf-stable tortillas, they're the ultimate survival bread. Unlike traditional loaves, tortillas don't need refrigeration and can last for weeks, sometimes months, depending on the packaging. Their flat, stackable design makes them easy to store anywhere. A drawer, a box under your bed, or even the trunk of your car. And their versatility, unmatched. Use them as wraps for leftover beans, a base for makeshift pizzas, or tear them into strips to toss into soups. No cooking required. If you've got peanut butter and a tortilla, congratulations, you've got a meal. For families with picky eaters, tortillas are a lifesaver. They're flexible enough to pair with almost anything, from canned tuna to scrambled eggs. And for those on tight grocery budgets, they offer maximum utility with minimum cost. When the shelves are empty and fresh bread is a distant memory, tortillas will be there, holding your meals together, literally. They're not just a convenience, they're a survival tool. 3. The golden fat, ghee, butter, is great until the power goes out or your fridge space runs out. That's where ghee, or clarified butter, comes in. This golden cooking fat doesn't just taste amazing, it's shelf-stable, meaning it doesn't need refrigeration and can last for months, even after opening. Ghee is made by slowly cooking butter to remove water and milk solids, leaving behind a rich, high-heat oil that's perfect for cooking. A single spoonful can transform bland rice, vegetables, or lentils into a comforting, satisfying meal. And in a crisis, when fresh food is scarce, those extra calories and healthy fats are exactly what your body needs to stay full and energized. For retirees who want to cook without constant grocery runs or students with limited fridge space, ghee is a smart swap. It's lightweight, compact, and incredibly versatile. Whether you're sautéing vegetables, frying eggs, or adding a dollop to your soup, ghee brings richness and flavor to every dish. In tough times, ghee isn't just a cooking ingredient, it's a survival essential. It's the kind of food that turns just getting by into something that feels a little more like living. 4. The crunchy lifesaver. Roasted chickpeas. Snacking during a financial emergency can feel like a luxury, but roasted chickpeas make it possible and practical. Forget greasy chips, stale crackers, or overpriced granola bars. Roasted chickpeas are crunchy, nutritious, and shelf-stable, making them the perfect snack for hard times. Packed with protein and fiber, they provide real energy without the sugar crash. And because they're dry and lightweight, they're easy to store and carry. Toss a few packs into your car emergency kit, your lunchbox, or even your coat pocket. They're great for seniors who want a low-prep snack, kids who need something tasty after school, or anyone trying to feel a little normal in a stressful moment. But roasted chickpeas aren't just for snacking. Sprinkle them on canned soups or salads for added texture and protein. They're a versatile, no-prep food that fits seamlessly into any meal plan. In a world where snacks are often the first thing to go, roasted chickpeas are a crunchy, satisfying exception. They're not just food, they're fuel for survival. 5. The flavor base. Canned tomatoes. Fresh tomatoes are one of the first things to disappear when prices skyrocket or supply chains falter. That's why canned tomatoes are a survival pantry essential. With years of shelf life and zero prep required, they're the ultimate flavor base for countless meals. From pasta sauce to soups, stews, chili, and even DIY pizza sauce, canned tomatoes are endlessly versatile. Packed in their own juice, they're loaded with antioxidants like lycopene, as well as vitamin C and potassium. In a crisis, when fresh produce is out of reach, these nutrients are critical for staying healthy. For families cooking from scratch or retirees making small-batch meals, canned tomatoes offer complete control over salt, sugar, and spice levels. No hidden junk, just pure, unadulterated flavor. And when paired with staples like rice, pasta, or beans, they stretch your meals further than you'd think possible. Canned tomatoes aren't just a convenience, they're a survival strategy. In tough times, they turn basic ingredients into meals that feel hearty, home-cooked, and comforting. When the fresh produce aisle is empty, canned tomatoes will still be there, ready to save the day. 6. The unsung hero, canned potatoes. In a world where time and resources are scarce, canned potatoes emerge as the unsung hero of pantry essentials. Forget the hassle of peeling, chopping, and boiling fresh spuds. These little lifesavers are already peeled, pre-cooked, and ready to eat straight from the can. When the world feels like it's crumbling, canned potatoes are there, waiting to fuel you with energy and keep you going. Packed with carbohydrates for stamina and potassium to keep your muscles and nerves functioning, these humble spuds are more than just a filler. They're survival fuel. Whether you're tossing them into a skillet with some spices, adding them to a soup to bulk it up, or eating them cold in a pinch, canned potatoes are versatile and reliable. For families on tight budgets or individuals living paycheck to paycheck, these potatoes can stretch a meal far beyond its original potential. A single can can transform a watery soup into a hearty, filling dish. And when the power goes out, there's no need to panic. Just pop the lid and dig in. Canned potatoes are also a prepper's dream. They're stackable, don't require refrigeration, can last for years. In a world where freezer space is limited and fresh produce spoils too quickly, these shelf-stable spuds are a practical, delicious solution. When the next financial crisis hits, you'll be glad you stocked up on this working-class hero. 7. The flavor savior, jarred salsa. When the monotony of rice and beans starts to feel like a prison sentence, jarred salsa swoops in to save the day. This isn't just a dip for chips, it's a morale booster, a flavor bomb, and a pantry essential that can make even the blandest meals bearable. Jarred salsa doesn't need refrigeration until it's opened, and its shelf life is impressive, especially if vacuum sealed. Made from tomatoes, onions, peppers, and vinegar, it's a powerhouse of flavor and nutrition. The acidity cuts through the heaviness of canned or dry foods, while the hydration from the tomatoes offers a small but meaningful boost. Picture this, you're stuck eating the same boring staples day after day. Then you add a spoonful of salsa to your instant noodles, canned meats, or scrambled eggs. Suddenly the meal feels alive again. That's the magic of salsa. It fights food fatigue, a very real and demoralizing issue during tough times. For those living on a tight budget or preparing for emergencies, salsa is a must-have. It's bright, tangy, and familiar, offering a psychological lift when everything else feels bleak. And the best part? You don't even need to heat it. Just open the jar and spoon it on. 8. The gut guardian. Pickled vegetables. When fresh produce rots and frozen veggies thaw during a power outage, pickled vegetables stand tall as the ultimate gut guardian. From tangy sauerkraut to spicy kimchi, these shelf-stable wonders are packed with fiber, vitamins, and probiotics that your body desperately needs during stressful times. Pickled veggies don't just last, they thrive. Sealed properly, they can sit on your shelf for months, even years, without losing their nutritional value. And when you're living off dry goods and canned proteins, the tangy acidity of pickled vegetables can break up the monotony and keep your taste buds from going numb. But it's not just about flavor. Fermented pickles like kimchi and sauerkraut support digestive health, which is critical when stress, dehydration, or a limited diet wreak havoc on your system. For seniors with sensitive stomachs or families too busy to cook fresh vegetables daily, pickled veggies are a lifesaver. No cooking, no refrigeration, until opened, and no fuss. Just open the jar and enjoy. Whether you're adding them to a sandwich, tossing them into a salad, or eating them straight from the jar, pickled vegetables are a pantry essential you can't afford to overlook. 9. The hidden gem. Canned pumpkin. Canned pumpkin isn't just for Thanksgiving pies, it's a hidden gem that can keep you nourished and full during the toughest of times. High in vitamin A, fiber, and complex carbs, it's a nutritional powerhouse that supports your immune system, gut health, and energy levels. Unlike fresh pumpkins, which spoil quickly, the canned version lasts for years on your shelf. It's moist and versatile, making it perfect for stretching dry staples like oats, rice, or flour into more satisfying meals. Add it to soups, stews, baked goods, or even pasta sauces to bulk up your dishes and make your food go further. During times of food inflation or unpredictable harvests, canned pumpkin becomes a quiet hero. A single can can feed multiple people or be portioned out across several meals, making it an economical choice for families and individuals alike. When the next financial emergency hits, you'll be glad you stocked up on this nutrient-dense, shelf-stable staple. It's not just a seasonal treat, it's a year-round survival tool. 10. The protein powerhouse, shelf-stable sausages. When meat prices skyrocket and power outages become the norm, shelf-stable sausages are your secret weapon. Think summer sausage, dry salami, or pepperoni. These cured meats are designed to last without refrigeration, making them a prepper's dream. Packed with protein, fat, and flavor, these sausages are small but mighty. They're perfect for slicing into soups, frying with potatoes, or stacking on crackers for a quick, satisfying snack. And because they're portable and ready to eat, they're ideal for seniors, students, or anyone without access to a full kitchen. But it's not just about convenience. Shelf-stable sausages are calorie-dense, providing the energy you need to get through tough times. And when you're stuck eating survival food, their indulgent taste and texture can feel like a luxury. In a world where freezer space is limited and fresh meat spoils too quickly, these sausages are protein insurance. Stock up now, because when the next crisis hits, you'll be glad you did. 11. Survival gold. Polenta tubes. Imagine a food that's cheap, shelf-stable, and ready to eat with almost no effort. Enter the polenta tube, a humble log of pre-cooked cornmeal that could be your saving grace when the shelves are bare and the power's out. This unassuming pantry hero doesn't need refrigeration until opened and can last for months, quietly waiting for its moment to shine. What makes it so special? Versatility. Slice it, fry it, bake it, or grill it. Polenta adapts to whatever you have on hand. Pair it with canned vegetables, leftover meats, or even a drizzle of oil, and you've got a meal that's filling and satisfying. Its soft texture is a godsend for kids, seniors, or anyone who needs something easy to chew but hearty enough to keep hunger at bay. Unlike rice or pasta, polenta doesn't feel repetitive. It's a break from the monotony, a comforting change when you're scraping together meals during tough times. One log can stretch into 3 or 4 servings, requiring almost no energy or fuel to prepare. In a world where every resource counts, polenta is the ultimate no-fuss meal extender. When the next financial storm hits, you'll be glad you stocked up on these golden logs of survival. They're not just food, they're peace of mind in a tube. 12. The underrated superfood. Buckwheat. Don't let the name fool you. Buckwheat isn't wheat, and it's not even a grain. It's a seed, and that's what makes it a powerhouse in times of crisis. Naturally gluten-free and packed with magnesium, iron, and plant-based protein, buckwheat is a nutritional lifeline for anyone trying to stay healthy on a budget. Here's the kicker. It cooks faster than rice or pasta, using less water and fuel. In just 15 minutes, You can have a hearty base for soups, stir-fries, or grain bowls. Its nutty, earthy flavor works just as well in savory dishes as it does in sweet breakfasts. Imagine a warm bowl of buckwheat porridge, topped with cinnamon and canned fruit, comfort food that doesn't break the bank. For students, low-income families, or anyone trying to stretch their dollar, buckwheat is a hidden gem. It's cheap, shelf-stable for years when stored properly, and incredibly versatile. Plus, its low glycemic index makes it a smart choice for those managing blood sugar levels. When the economy takes a nosedive and you're left counting pennies, buckwheat will be there. Nutritious, reliable, and ready to fuel your next move. 13 flavor bombs. Marinated artichokes. When times are tough and meals start to feel like a chore, marinated artichokes can be a game changer. These little jars of oil, vinegar, and herbs aren't just a luxury, they're a survival tool disguised as a treat. Why? Because they do more than just taste good. Packed with healthy fats, fiber, and plant compounds, marinated artichokes can elevate even the blandest meal. Toss them into rice, pasta, or salads. Layer them onto sandwiches or eat them straight from the jar when you're too tired to cook. They add variety, texture, and a burst of flavor that can reignite your appetite when food fatigue sets in. For older adults or anyone struggling to eat during stressful times, these jars offer both nutrition and motivation. They don't require cooking, last for months unopened, and take up minimal space in your pantry. And let's face it, sometimes a little flavor feels like a lifeline. In a financial emergency, marinated artichokes remind you that survival doesn't have to mean sacrificing comfort. They're proof that even in the darkest times, a little luxury can go a long way. 14. Indestructible rations. Hardtack might sound like something out of a history book, but this ancient survival food has earned its place in modern emergency kits. Made from just flour and water, hardtack is baked until it's nearly indestructible. Properly stored, it can last for decades. Yes, decades. On its own, hardtack is plain, dry, and let's be honest, not exactly exciting. But pair it with peanut butter, canned spreads, or sausage, and you've got a meal that's filling and functional. It's not meant to replace dinner, but to stretch other ingredients, add crunch, or fill the gap between meals. For those living paycheck to paycheck or preparing for long-term disruptions, hardtack offers pure resilience. It doesn't mold, spoil, or break down unless it gets wet. In a world where waste is not an option, hardtack is the ultimate no-frills food. When the next financial crisis hits and you're staring down an empty pantry, you'll be glad you stocked up on this Civil War-era staple. It's not just food, it's survival in its simplest form. 15. Pocket fuel. Sealed snack bars. Sometimes you don't have time to cook, sometimes stress kills your appetite, and sometimes you just need something to grab and go. That's where sealed snack bars come in. A lifeline in a wrapper. Designed to be shelf-stable, portable, and calorie-dense, these bars are perfect for emergency kits, bug-out bags, or even that drawer in your desk. Many are packed with protein, fiber, and healthy fats, and some are even fortified with vitamins. They're the ultimate convenience food for students pulling all-nighters, retirees on the road, or busy parents trying to avoid overpriced gas station snacks. In a financial emergency when every dollar counts, snack bars offer a quick, no-prep solution to keep you moving. They don't require refrigeration, cleanup, or even a plate. Just open, eat, and get back to surviving. Think of them as fuel in your pocket, ready to power you through whatever challenges come your way. When the world feels like it's falling apart, these little bars remind you that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. 16. Crisis staple. Cornmeal. Cornmeal isn't just food, it's survival in powdered form. This old-school pantry essential has been feeding families through famines, wars, and economic collapses for centuries. Why? Because it's cheap, versatile, and practically indestructible when stored properly. Cornmeal doesn't need fancy ingredients to work its magic. With just water and heat, you can whip up hot porridge, fry it into patties, or bake it into cornbread. No eggs, no milk, no oil, no problem. Cornmeal adapts to whatever you have or don't have. Its low moisture content makes it resistant to mold, and when sealed in airtight containers, it can last for years. For families who grew up on grits, hush puppies, or Johnny cakes, cornmeal is more than a food, it's a taste of home. For younger folks learning to cook on a budget, it's a crash course in survival. When the next financial storm hits, and you're staring down an empty fridge, cornmeal will be there. It's not glamorous, but it's reliable, filling, and comforting. In a world where everything feels uncertain, cornmeal is a reminder that some things never let you down. 17. Flavor lifeline. Jarred pesto. Jarred pesto might seem like a luxury, but in a crisis, it's a secret weapon. This little jar of basil garlic, oil, nuts, and cheese is a flavor bomb waiting to transform your blandest meals into something you actually want to eat. Shelf-stable until opened. Pesto doesn't need refrigeration and requires zero prep. A single spoonful can turn plain rice, pasta, or even canned veggies into a meal that feels intentional. It's not just about taste, it's about morale. When you're living on the bare minimum, a burst of flavor can remind you that life isn't all doom and gloom. Pesto is also packed with healthy fats, a bit of protein, and nutrients that your body craves during stressful times. It's perfect for those cooking with limited ingredients in small spaces like dorms, RVs, or tiny apartments. When food fatigue sets in, and you're tired of eating the same thing day after day, pesto is your lifeline. It's proof that even in the darkest times, a little jar of green can bring light to your plate. 18. Nutrient bombs, smoked mussels and oysters. Smoked mussels and oysters might sound fancy, but don't let their reputation fool you. These tiny tins are survival food at its finest. Nutrient-dense, shelf-stable, and ready to eat straight from the can. Packed with protein, omega-3s, iron, zinc, selenium, and vitamin B12, they're a powerhouse of nutrition that's hard to find when fresh food is scarce. Their smoky, savory flavor makes them perfect for tossing into pasta, rice, or even spreading on crackers. No cooking, no cleanup, no hassle. For older adults or anyone who needs nutrient-dense food without the effort of cooking, these tins are a lifesaver. They're small but mighty, delivering real fuel when you need it most. And because they last for years unopened, they're a smart addition to any emergency pantry. In a world where fresh food can disappear overnight, smoked mussels and oysters are a luxury with purpose. They're not just a treat, they're a lifeline. 19. Ocean protein. Canned clams. Canned clams might not be the first thing you think of when stocking up for a crisis, but they should be. These little tins are packed with lean protein, iron, and omega-3s, making them a nutritional powerhouse that's also incredibly versatile. Pre-cooked and lightweight, canned clams can be turned into chowders, pasta sauces, or mixed with rice and herbs for a simple, satisfying meal. They pair beautifully with shelf-stable cream, like evaporated milk, for soups, or with tomato sauce for pasta. What makes them even better? Their long shelf life and no need for refrigeration. For families trying to stretch their grocery budget while still getting quality nutrition, canned clams are a smart seafood shortcut. When the fridge is empty, and dinner still needs to happen, these little tins will save the day. They're proof that you don't need a big budget to eat well, you just need to think ahead. 20. Pantry MVP. Canned mushrooms. Canned mushrooms might not seem exciting, but when fresh produce is out of reach, they're a game changer. These humble pantry staples bring texture, umami, and nutrients to your meals, turning even the simplest dishes into something satisfying. Ready to eat and requiring no chopping, canned mushrooms can be tossed into everything from eggs to pasta, stews, or stir-fries. They're packed with potassium, selenium, and B vitamins, nutrients that are crucial for energy and stress resilience, especially during tough times. Because they're stored in water or brine, canned mushrooms take up minimal space and can last for years in your cupboard. They're the quiet heroes of the pantry, stepping up when fresh options are gone. When the world feels like it's falling apart and your pantry is down to dry goods and carbs, canned mushrooms can completely change the game. They're not just food, they're a reminder that even the simplest things can make a big difference.